Hello and welcome back. And we're continuing where we left off with rhythm exercise group number 10. This is part two. If you haven't watched part one, that lays some groundwork. So we're just going to go right in, starting with exercise number 72. So we're going to do these at two different speeds. We're going to start off at eighth note equals 120, 120 beats per minute. But now the beat, as you already know, is the eighth note, not the quarter note. It's just a semantic distinction to our ears. It's still going to feel like 3 beats, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the repeats, and the first time through, I'm going to count out loud, and the second time through, I'm not going to. The second time through, what I'm going to do is put a bass drum beat on the beginning of each measure so that you can feel where 1 is, feel a little bit of weight where that is. Okay, so we're starting at 120 beats per minute. And I'm going to give you one measure of prep to go. So if we're in 3/8, one measure would have 3 beats. So 1, 2, go. Boom. Here we go. 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All right. Now, the goal with this, if you haven't figured it out, is those counts on the second time through. Make sure that you are trying to continue through doing those counts. So I'm getting you started, and then you continue on. All right. Now, if you look at this 3/8, there's only so many combinations of beats. If we're only using eighth notes, eighth rests, there's only so many different combinations. You can either play or not on beat 1, play or not on beat 2, play or not on beat 3. And so what you'll realize is that, okay, that's 2 times 2 times 2. That's basically there's 8 possible rhythms, and that's it. Where we start to get more variation is when we put pairs of those combinations together. So that's why you'll more commonly see things and feel things in 6, because people are naturally binary oriented. We like to have two sides to things, first side, second side. And so that translates to rhythm here. And what I'm going to do is the same approach when we go on to number 73. And I'm going to do first time through counting. I'm going to tap my foot on 1 and 4. Still every third beat, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, as opposed to 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But we're dealing with larger chunks of material. So yes, it's very similar, but we're bridging a gap to having longer ideas. That's the goal here. And we're still at 120 beats per minute. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Repeat. Next line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right. Hopefully this is a piece of cake for you. Let's go back to number 72 and number 73, and we're going to do them both faster. This is now, well, if we use the eighth note, we're going to go 150 beats per minute. That sounds fast, but if you start to think of it more in terms of this bass drum speed, it's not fast. It's kind of more of a moderate, more actually more manageable tempo when you start to feel it this way. So this is what we talk about, a compound meter, where we have the ability to zoom in or zoom out and micromanage it by going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or we zoom out a little bit and we just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and where we are choosing where to pay attention, choosing where to feel the rhythm. A lot of meters don't provide too many different options. 6, 3, those two numbers, and 12 especially, provide a lot of different options because those numbers can be chopped up a few different ways, right? For example, 6 can be groups of 3, groups of 2. 12s can have groups of 4, groups of 3, groups of 2. And we remember those 2, 3, and 4 groupings as being the significant groupings that everything is kind of built upon when we talk about rhythmic music, rhythm and continual flow of the grains, just to bring that concept back just for a second. Okay, so here's 72. We're now doing it at this tempo, right? So that's our eighth note, but we're going to choose a little bit more of a slow feel to this. So even though it's eighth note equals 150, because I'm tapping my foot once per bar, it's actually a third as fast. So we could do it thinking of it as the bar equals 50, right? So that's, if we were to put numerical values to these, it's either the small beats are 150 beats per minute, or the big beat, the zoomed out beat, is 50 beats per minute. That works for this particular tempo. 120 would be 120 or 40 beats per minute, right? The math works out. It's just proportion for these things. Okay, number 72, 150 beats per minute for the eighth note. 3 beats to go. 1, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Ooh, extra symbol note there. All right, hopefully that you got through that quickly. This next one, number 73, is going to feel pretty similar to that. All right, let's go for it. 6 to go. And now, again, if you can, hopefully you can hear this bass drum as I go. See if you can tap your foot on 1 and 4 throughout. As a matter of fact, what I will do to give you a better visual prompt is I will bring over my hi-hat, because you'll be able to see the cymbal in the foreground. You'll be able to see it moving, and that way you'll get a better sense of whether your foot tapping is going along with things, right? It's a little on the spot ingenuity. Hopefully it will help you a little bit better. All right, so this is going to be your foot tapping, so you can see it and hear it as well. Number 73. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, moving on. Number 74. And with this 5/8, now we're dealing with 5/8, and you know, the math thing that I just talked about, where we can take a number and we can divide it into different symmetrical parts, that doesn't work with 5 anymore, because it's a prime number. You can't really divide it up evenly, so you have to divide it unevenly. And this is a concept that is really interesting to play around with, is that you're having alternating lengths of beats. And 5/8 is a great introduction to this because we can do 3 plus 2. So what I'm going to do is do that exact same thing with the hi-hat here. So instead of going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have a longer beat and a shorter beat, right? The beats are no longer the same in length, which requires a little bit of backstage knowledge and backstage understanding of this type of meter. Okay, same deal as before. We're going to slow it down to 120. First time through, I'll count along with you. Second time through, I will keep the foot going for you. Let's get a even slightly better view of that for you. Okay, number 74. 5 to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now, if you notice in the second line, third measure, I actually switched it up because the way that's written actually is 2 plus 3, which without, I don't want to mess you up, but you can actually switch the order. If you were able to go through it and just keep your ear on the metronome, that's fine, right? When we do it at 150 in a moment, I will do it consistently, right? But the idea of using the slower tempo to hang on to the eighth note and to keep track of the eighth note is going to prevent you from having derailments. There were my original thought for some of this material is that I would deliberately put in mistakes. I feel like that's a little diabolical. So that was an incidental mistake that, if you got through it, well done. If you didn't even notice it, listen back, see if you're able to catch my inconsistency. It won't be there this time. Here we go. Number 74 up to 150. One, two, three, four, five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 3, 4, 5. All right, goes by super quick. And this is one of those moments where I wouldn't blame you if you wanted to go back and do that again. So feel free. Moving on, number 75. So now we're in 7/8. Same concepts, but now we get more combinations of 2 and 3. The 2 plus 2 plus 3, taka, taka, takina, taka, taka, takina, is the most common way that you'll see or hear 7/8 presented. There's a piece that we may listen to in your third year curriculum called Chichester Psalms, which has this grouping. It's a Leonard Bernstein composition that has that grouping go throughout. There's another piece that you'll listen to called Unsquare Dance by Dave Brubeck. It's actually bass, piano, and the drummer soloing on the music stand in front of him, right? It's all this entire grouping where the bass player plays the beginning of each grouping, and there's hand claps on the in between. Taka, taka, takina, taka, taka, takina. So we have this little, again, it continues its lopsidedness, but it's more of like a lopsided 3 because we have 3 groupings, right? whereas 5/8 was a lopsided 2. We had two groupings, a grouping of 3, grouping of 2. Now 7/8, 2, 2, 3 groupings. So we have mm, 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 mm. 1, 2, 3. That's yet another way to count it. Now, confused yet? Probably, right? I'm going to go through in a moment the different ways that sometimes the exact same rhythm and the exact same meter can be counted. And it's not meant to confuse because ultimately you only have to pick one to make sense of. These are all a means to an end. So I don't want you to think that, oh, wow, I have to know all these, or you don't. It's whatever gets the right rhythm in your hands the easiest is what I want you to be considerate of. Okay, so number 75, we're going to slow it back down to 120. Same deal that we did before, taking the repeats with counting, without counting, hi-hat on the groupings. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. Mistake. 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Six, 7. Right. Hopefully you were able to manage my little, again, that was just a human mistake, but I'm leaving it in there, right? Because part of what you want to be able to do is recover, and because this is a live video and I'm not going to start it over for that one little thing because I stayed in the meter and it was a one note mistake, right? So please forgive me, but I'm sure you're forgiving me. All right. Now, about the different methods for counting the same meter. This is most common for dancers, especially when it comes to things that are in 6, as my experience has shown me, right? You might find different pockets of dance culture and dance and music relationships where this is a different thing elsewhere. The pocket that I have explored in the New York area for my career for the last 20 years or so has been that this has been the deal with 6. And while it may also happen with other meters, 6 is particularly ripe for this for the reasons we kind of talked about earlier when we were talking about exercise number 73. So you have a compound meter, right? And again, that's a zoom in, zoom out meter where we can either look at it, look at the trees, or look at the forest. We could think of the people, or we could think of the umbrella that covers all of them, right? There's just different concepts that we can play around with to help understand how the written fashion translates to how you feel it, how you hear it, how you understand it, how you use it, all those things. So I'm just going to read a little bit here with our compound meter 6/8 being called compound duple due to its two groupings of notes, right? Two grouping of notes where each grouping can then in turn be counted within the grouping, right? It's not just 1, 2, it's one with more countable stuff in it. It opens up the possibility for different counting methods. Here we see 3 different ways that rhythm and music in 6 is commonly counted, all of which you will come across with in various approaches of choreographers and instructors. I mean, that might be a little bit of a leap, but you tell me. You let me know if this was a little bit too assumptive on my part, if that's a word, assumptive. If I'm making it too large of an assumption. All right. So for A, this is useful for slow to moderate counting where every count is going to need its own street address, right? We need to be able to refer to count 5 or count 3, right? So if we're in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I mean, anything like there or slower, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1. And we might even need to start to chop up the beat even further when we get there. So, but as that gets faster, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. At a certain point, when it gets faster, you're not going to really try and play something on count 6, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Unless it's extremely detailed and precise and small, right? That you're not going to put a large thing on a count that precise, especially if 1 is coming right behind it, right? So as we get faster, the stuff in between kind of fades away in the background as being less significant, right? Because the fast things are enough to keep track of as it is. And so you will also, around using about these same tempo ranges, sometimes hear people go 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. That is useful specifically when you have something like a mixed meter where you want to go 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. You want to do some kind of additive phrase where the big beat is important and you still want to keep that three-ness going on underneath it, right? So that is going to help you. It's still in 6 as it's presented there. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, right? You can just hear 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Still same thing, but it's anchoring in a little bit more on this part of it and less on this part of it. And last is, and this one happens to be really nice, especially as things have more of a loose feeling and you don't really care about the in-betweens, and things are getting faster, is the 1 and a 2 and a 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 1. When you want to create a feeling of rolling and perpetual motion and gravity and drop and release, right? That sort of counting can help bring that out of the movement. It can also help inform the musician, right? This is one of those moments where the style of counting is going to help massively inform the music, because if the musician's hearing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we might even think of something like, right? But if we hear 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2, we might think, we might just get a stick and do it the proper way. I have a whole bunch of sticks right. 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and a 1. I might think that. Hopefully that doesn't distort too much for your ears. So there are these like little implications of these different counting styles. Ultimately, they're all going to work. They both have slightly separate comfort zones tempo-wise, and this is where it's going to be up to you to figure out, okay, which one makes sense, which one do I encounter more with the people that I'm working with currently. So in turn, it might make sense for me to use it a little bit more. But because this comes up fairly often, like in a Graham class and a Lamone class in particular, those, if you're taking some sort of release technique, those, it might be interesting to kind of get into the weeds just slightly, so that you can extract some more nuance out of these things, right? This has less to do with learning how to count and clap a rhythm than it does have to do with like the affect that counting can bring to understanding something. And speaking of understanding, of course, feel free to go back and review anything. And remember that YouTube has on the desktop, it has that custom speed playback thing. So if the 150 stuff is a little bit fast for you, you can slow it down in increments of 5%. The custom speed selection. As of right now, it doesn't work on the mobile app, but you should be able to do it on a desktop. And with that, I will see you on the next one.